We got an interesting text message. It was with a couple of photos from intern Squidward, former intern Squidward that used to work here. And we're like, what in the world is going on? And send him to urgent care. He's in need of legal advice. Let's go to former intern Squidward right now. What's up, Squid?
Hey, Squid.
Good morning, guys. Good morning.
You sound like you can barely even talk.
What's the matter?
What happened?
Yeah, what happened?
So 2 nights ago, heading to pick up some food, I was T-boned by an undercover police officer. And I was T-boned. I was spun out. My car was able to drive away, and when the guy hit me on the right side, and if the guy was undercover, so at first I didn't realize, it was an officer. So I was going down. I was in Greensboro, going down Glendale Drive, heading towards Randleman, and there's a stoplight where Glendale meets Randleman. And before the stoplight, on the right side, there is a Food Lion. And I was driving, and there's an entrance to the Food Lion on the right side before the stoplight. And I'm driving towards the stoplight, and I see this Jeep, and it's pulling up pretty quick. And I'm like, that guy's moving kind of fast. And I'm like, he's not going to stop, is he? He's not stopping. And so there's a turn. There's 3 lanes on this road. There's obviously the right lane, left lane, then the turn lane in the middle. And so I tried to avoid him by going to the turn lane, but the guy didn't stop. So he smacked me, and I spun, did a 180, and my car was facing. I was in the same lane I was driving in, but my car was facing the opposite direction.
Oh, that's scary.
To get this a clearer picture of it, he was actually coming from the parking lot of Food Lion. That's where so he pulled out of the parking lot of Food Lion and hit you on the side?
Yes, hit me on the right side. And, pulled over and started talking to him. And so he was trying to follow someone. There was someone who he's a undercover police officer. And so there was someone he thought was being suspicious. And so he was trying to follow them. So he said I was kind of at a blind spot behind a bush, and he was focused on keeping up with this one person. So that's why he hit me. And
did he admit fault?
Yes, he did. Yes. And he's a super cool guy, is very apologetic. Within maybe 15 minutes, some other officers showed up, and they were super kind, really making sure, asking me if I need EMS, all this. Initially, I said no, because I felt fine. Obviously my adrenaline was pumping. Mm-hmm. And maybe the whole process, the cops came out, asked if I needed EMS, and then he had to write up a report. So I probably sat there maybe for close to an hour, maybe a little less than an hour. And while I was sitting there in the car waiting for, he would ask for my registration and my license, and they were typing up all the paperwork. My neck was starting to get stiff on the right side. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't still too bad. When he gave me my license and my registration back, he asked, again, if I needed EMS, and I said no. But I did tell him how my neck was getting stiff. And so that was 2 nights ago. And so yesterday morning, I woke up and and my neck was extremely stiff. I had this it's a splitting headache, and it was kind of traveling up my right shoulder, the right side of my neck, and kind of going up to my forehead. It kind of wrapped around. If that makes any sense.
But, whiplash.
Whiplash, yeah.
Yeah. So I went to urgent care, and the doctor, she didn't have me turn my head this way, that way. She looked at my eyes, and she said that it's a textbook whiplash case, and told me that she offered I can't remember the exact name of it, but a shot in my neck for the pain. And then, and so it gave me some muscle relaxers. And initially I was like, yeah, I'll take him. And then she walked in with the needle. And I'm like, you know what?
I thought you give me a pill.
Yeah,
where in the neck did they give that? Where in the neck did they give that? On the side?
I didn't find that out, so I couldn't tell you.
He declined it.
That's rough.
That's a rough one. All right, and so then we're going to talk to our official attorney, Lisa Lanier. You got some questions for her?
Yes. So, my main concern, well, first, it was kind of confusing with as far as exchanging insurance information. So it was a Greensboro Police Department officer, and so I was obviously asked for their insurance information, and they said they're self-insured. So I'm, kind of was unsure exactly what that means, but also, so I was driving my beloved, 2005 Pontiac,
Mm-hmm.
It's
the one
iconic.
that
Shiny gold.
Is it drivable right now, or is it totaled?
So that's one thing. So yesterday I was told that I was going to get a call from their insurance adjuster, and they were going to potentially come look at my car. I haven't gotten the call yet, so I'm kind of unsure about that, what I need to do as far as that goes. But yes, my car is drivable. But neither door on my right side will open. When I drive, it's like, it sounds like the doors are open because there's so much, I guess, air getting through.
I'm sorry.
It's not funny,
It
but
sounds funny. The whistling.
yeah. And you drive your niece and your nephew, like you pick them up from school sometimes, so you have to be able to open those doors.
I was going to say how I don't feel comfortable picking them up with my car for sure.
Right.
And two, on the way to the doctor yesterday, my check engine light came on.
Uh-oh.
So and I guess another concern I want to ask Lisa, according to Kelly Blue Book, and my car in perfect condition is at most $1,500 to $2,000.
Wow, that much.
Yep.
Yes, and so my concern is, I'm still not balling by any means. Money's tight, and so I can't afford a car payment at the moment.
Sure.
So my concern is, if they decide to total the car, say I get $2,000 at most. That's not even enough to fix the doors, let alone get maybe enough for a down payment for a car. But, I can't afford a car payment. So, I'm kind of just really concerned about how I'll be able to fix my car and have, a reliable car on the road.
So you want to know what to do going forward. Mm-hmm. Like, how do you handle this situation? Okay. Well,
I'm just kind of want to know what she thinks I should do. Should I get a lawyer? Is that something that she would recommend? I'm kind of just.
Those are all great questions, Squid. They're great.
Well, if you listen to the commercial, I think she recommends a lawyer.
Yeah, I could hire a heavyweight. I could. Yeah.
HireAHeavyweight.com. Uh-huh. We do have our official attorney, Lisa Lanier, on. Good morning, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Hey, good morning, Squid. I'm so sorry this happened to you. That really is lousy, and I'm so scared you're so screwed on that car. Oh my gosh, I know you are. In fact, it's terrible. So this is the thing that people just get so upset about. They can be hurt really bad, and they're really actually more upset about how screwed they get on the property damage. What happens is it's basically a forced sale of your car when it's a total loss. And if the book on your car is like $1,500 to $2,000, you could scratch it and it would almost total it, right? I mean, it doesn't take much, and so it's probably a total loss. And when that happens, you are entitled to the fair market value of your vehicle. And when somebody has loved on a car like you have and taken good care of it, there's no way you get back in a car like that for that money. And so that's where you really get screwed. It's really awful.
Oh.
And if you have done. Unfortunately, I think it's a car that's kind of not in a category of kind of like a classic, restored vehicle. You can try to argue for, like, if you've done something recently to the car, rims, those kind of things that would have their own value. Sometimes you can get a little bit more kicked in for that, but it's still not much, so that's where you really get screwed, is on the property damage. The other thing is that police departments have sovereign immunity that they can waive, but Greensboro typically tries to raise their qualified immunity, their sovereign immunity, in which case you may have to look to your own insurance. It depends. Sometimes, because when they do this qualified immunity thing, they kind of pick and choose, and sometimes they pay claims and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they'll just pay the medical bills, not fully what you would get if you, if a regular private individual had hit you. And so in that situation, if they're raising sovereign immunity, you can actually look to your own insurance under your uninsured motorist coverage. And so for the injury part of it, it all depends on how injured you are. Like if you need ongoing medical care and that sort of thing after today, then it's probably worth pursuing, maybe with a lawyer, getting, making sure you actually get finished treating, get better. And, but if you end up, you don't need any more medical treatment after today and it was kind of a one-off thing and you're better, after a few days, then I don't think you need an attorney, and you may even be able to work it out with them because sometimes they do voluntarily pay, even though they have this qualified immunity.
So they have qualified immunity, which makes sense, like if they're, pursuing somebody and something happened. But what about the undercover part? There's no siren, as far as I'm understanding. It looks like a dude in a Jeep just flying out of a food line.
Yeah, no, it's really hard to, not just the Greensboro police, but any law enforcement, they have, you can't sue the sovereign unless they waive sovereign immunity and allow you to. And the only time you can really break that, get beyond that, is if they were just grossly, willfully, wantonly, reckless, negligent. And that's pretty rare. And like here, and the other thing you got to be careful of, Squid, is like, you were saying, well, I saw him and I saw, he wasn't going to stop. North Carolina is a contributory negligence state. So you have to be careful of saying stuff like that because you probably didn't see him in time to stop. But then you start getting hard questions like, well, where was his vehicle? How many, what store was he in front of, or what versus where you were? And they start measuring and they're like, well, you had time to avoid the accident. North Carolina, you have a duty to avoid the accident. You can be accused of contrib, which is a complete bar to any kind of recovery. So you got to be careful with that. I'm sure he pulled out on you in no time and all that, but then to hear you kind of retelling it, and you're like, and I saw him and I knew he wasn't going to stop. So be careful with that.
I hate every bit about this. I do.
Yeah, I do too.
I hate every bit about this for him
because this is like making his last 6 months.
And what about his injury and his being off of work and not being recouped the money from being at work and the time he's taking and the pain that he's going through with the whiplash? Is there any money there?
Well, so your injury, your bodily injury claim, with sovereign immunity, he would have to look to his own uninsured motorist if they deny the bodily injury claim for sovereign immunity. They may voluntarily pay it. Sometimes they do. That's the thing about immunity. They can choose. They can kind of pick and choose. What they do a lot of times is they go, well, we won't pay for your pain and suffering or any of that, but we'll pay for your medical bills. Well, you're better off having them just deny the claim for sovereign immunity and go after your own uninsured motorist, because that if it's an immunity situation, that means that it's technically no insurance, and so you can go file a UM claim, and then you can actually get for your injury, you can get your pain and suffering, you can get your lost wages, medical bills, all that.
And then your own insurance is paying for it. Then would his rates would probably go up.
I don't think for uninsured.
Not for uninsured motorists. The rates go up only if you're at fault.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So there's a little bit of a light.
But not really. Here's Squid just going to go get, something to eat, and then out of nowhere, an accident is an accident, but he's walking away totally screwed.
Right. It sounds like it.
That's terrible.
Well, and if his injury isn't anything beyond whiplash, that's not worth a whole lot of money. It's not, it's not going to. I mean, if he doesn't get any more treatment, a couple $1,000s, maybe.
What if we could prove brain damage? I think we could do that easily.
Before or after?
Well, there might be some.
Lisa,
hey, you know what? I'm smelling a GoFundMe situation.
That's exactly
what
what I was going to say. Ken, we're just going to
yeah.
go ahead. I said, what are the we can just start one, right? That's it.
Get Squid a new car.
We're starting one for Squid right now.
New car for
GoFundMe.
Squid. I'll contribute. Send it to me. I'll kick in.
Okay,
here we
thank
go.
you.
Let's get it started.
That's a great idea. Actually,
Squid. Any money I make off of taking photos of my feet goes straight into your GoFundMe. Straight into there.
Yeah.
Katie, if you actually start on Feet OnlyFans, you're going to be able to afford a Bentley for me.
Thank you, Squid, for believing in me.
If Squid, if you are still hurting, you should keep going to the doctor. That's the key thing. Is a lot of times, especially young guys, will be like, "Oh, I'll be all right," in a few days. I won't go to the doctor. The next thing you know, it's like 4 weeks later, they're still hurting. Then they go to the doctor. Then you've got a problem because the insurance company says, well, why didn't you go to the doctor? You got a gap in your medical treatment. So if you're hurting, go get medical treatment.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that, one question. So as of now, the doctor gave me a note till Thursday, and so my neck's still very stiff. Like the headache, I'm taking like extra things Tylenol for. And so my new job, is commission based. So every day that I'm not there, like there's
not getting paid.
I could be selling multiple cars. Yeah. And I'm not like, how does that work? Is there?
Well, that's, that's very hard to prove too, especially it's a new job. So, how are you going to prove what you would have earned during that time? Very difficult to prove. It can be done, but it's hard. It's very speculative when it's a new job, because what the burden is to show what your lost time from work meant in terms of dollars. What did you lose in terms of dollars? Well, how do you prove that when it's, a commission-based new job? You can look at what you've made so far, and maybe that'll give enough documentation, but it's tough. So, sometimes people work through the pain, and that's okay. Sometimes people are like, look, I can't afford to follow what this doctor's note said. I'm just going to push through and work through the pain. And there's some insurance companies that their models for evaluating claims will actually, it's called duties under duress, and they'll actually give you some credit for that, even though it's not getting you your lost wages because you didn't work, you didn't stay out of work. You can get a little bit of credit for that.
Well, Jason did buy a snow car from him. So, I mean, that should help with the...
Oh.
Well, yeah.
There you go.
That's before the fact.
No, I know, but he can show that, like I can sell a snow car when people shouldn't be buying a snow car.
Yeah.
Do you have any cars just laying around your driveway?
No,
Jason? None?
I don't.
You don't? You got rid of them all? Okay.
Rid of them all. I
don't know. You have a surplus.
I lost them in the time.
I wish.
Yeah, I don't have an extra car either.
I don't either.
Let's do a GoFundMe then.
I'm going to start it for you, Squid.
Yeah, I think you need to go for me and go to the doctor and impress the city on if they're going to raise sovereign immunity or not, so that you can move on to your own insurance if necessary.
So, Lisa, just to be clear, it's better if the police or the city does not says no, we're not paying anything. Basically, because then he can go to his own uninsured. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to try to offer him some lesser, like just the medical bills and not his pain and suffering, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's better just to say, let me just go just ask them for a letter saying that they don't carry insurance. And then you go take that to your insurance company. And, and the other thing, there is a thing, I don't know if you know anyone that could fix the car, like a shade tree mechanic buddy kind of thing. But there is a thing called retained salvage, where you can essentially buy back the vehicle for, salvage value is not that much, right? So salvage value on that vehicle might be a few $100. And so let's say it was, a $2,000 payoff for you for the car, and the salvage value is $200, you get to keep your car, but you get $1,800 and a salvage title. And then that you can, that way you can take that $1,800 to like your shade tree mechanic and say, fix it.
Oh,
so check that out. So that's a possibility, because if it's body damage and somebody, sometimes that's a better way to go on these kind of lower value cars.
Okay. And then with pain and suffering, like how's that calculated? Like, I mean, it
really just depends on, it's kind of a factor of the extent of your injury, like how, somebody that just, like if he just has this one medical visit and maybe one follow-up, his pain and suffering number is going to be pretty low. Like I said, under $2,000.
Okay.
But if he ends up, he finds out he's got like a herniated disc in his neck, and he has to have like a bunch of these injections in his neck and, MRIs and blah, 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 then the pain and suffering number goes up along with that.
Okay. And then the brain damage claim. I got it.
Well, yeah.
And the brain damage claim, right.
Lisa is a wealth of knowledge.
No kidding.
And
Thank you, Lisa.
she shoots you straight, which is also helpful. Lisa, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. If you're injured on the job, contact her right away. HireAheavyweight.com. Squid, were you hoping for better news?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of was.
Well, here's...
I guess I almost wish I was hit by a random person now if it's going to be
100%. Yeah.
Squid needs a whip. That's going to be it. I'm going to share it everywhere.
The GoFundMe.
He needs a new whip.
Squid needs whip. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll post that, get that going for you, because it's one thing when your money's tight and then you have a car that's paid for and then it gets totaled, but it's not enough to get a new car. Then you're just adding a whole nother bill for something because you're just
driving to go get food.
Where are we going to go eat? I'll see if it was worth it.
It was Hoda Japanese and sushi in Greensboro.
Just trying to eat his favorite meal.
It was worth
Oh,
it.
yeah, and that's the worst part. I ordered a takeout, so the time I got to it, it was cold. My takeout was cold.
There's even more pain and suffering. That's worth hundreds of thousands. Dang, dude.
Yeah, that's what
That's a rough go.
They
dude,
probably saw that car, the wheels are wobbling, rolling up the place. They're like, oh my gosh, we're going to get robbed.
call security.
And then Squid's sitting in his car just eating his cold hibachi.
Crying
It wasn't
along
very succulent then.
with his stiff neck. Came and swallowed the noodles.
Can't look left.
Can't look right.
Damn.
Yeah. Head is no longer on a swivel.
Can't be.
He's at risk.
He's hobbled.
All joking aside, Squid, that sucks. But yeah, we'll get the link. I'll put it on my Facebook page.
Okay, I'll share it.
Okay.
All right, Squid. We love
appreciate you guys.
Glad things are going well for you. All right, see you. God, that sucks.
It's just once he's like he just got this new job and he's going, and then all of a sudden, bam! Here comes another smack in the face.
I know. And then I've always found it interesting, and this happens in a lot of places, and I've been a part of this too. Is like sometimes people who build homes can't afford a home.
Right.
Some people,
Sure.
people who sell cars can't afford a car. You know, I used to sell homes at the time. I mean, it's like I couldn't afford the homes I was selling. It's like a weird feeling.
It is. Yes.
Like you're trying to convince people to, you know, because it's a good thing, it's a good value, but you're like, I can't do it. I've always found that interesting. All right. Okay. Well, donate
depressing.
to Squid's GoFundMe. We'll get it posted here. Hopefully,
I have to just figure out how to do it.
by the end of the. Just never mind. We're not going to do it.
No,
I'm just kidding.
We'll have it posted by the end of the show.
We will.
Okay, and it will be the creator will be Katie. So you know if someone else tries to create one, don't do that one. Is the legit one will be Katie, created by Katie or from something from the station. All right. So you see this Delta airliner that landed and then flipped upside down?
I cannot handle all of these stories. I already have anxiety about flying every time.
Yes.
And then now it's like left and right. They're coming out.
but nobody was hurt, right?
No, people were hurt.
Yeah, they were. And there were videos of people upside down.
Yeah, there's people injured that were sent to the hospital.
Okay, but did anybody die?
As of right now, no. So we have the audio from the control tower and the pilot as things were happening, and then some passengers speaking out about what it was like to be on that Delta airline flight that landed and flipped upside down. I believe caught on fire. That's next, Jared and Katie in the morning.